Welcome to the Supreme Grammar Podcast, where you can learn to write like a Supreme Court Justice, with me, Jill Barton. On this episode, I've asked our AI hosts to describe how to get the format for your citations exactly right. Citations can be tricky with all the abbreviations and punctuation rules, but they add credibility and transparency to any legal document you write. Let's listen in.
Right. Ready to dive into one of those essential skills for any aspiring lawyer?
Always a good one.
Legal citation.
Yeah.
We're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of Blue Book citations.
Right.
Isn't that just like a bunch of rules about commas and periods?
Well, it's true. There are a lot of rules, but think of it this way. Legal citation is a language.
Okay.
A very specific language designed to allow legal professionals to communicate with each other clearly and efficiently.
Okay, so it's more than just following the rules to follow the rules. There's like a real purpose behind it.
Exactly. Imagine you're a judge reading a brief.
Okay.
You come across a legal argument, but you want to verify the source,
Right.
make sure it actually supports the point being made without a clear and consistent citation system. Finding that source would be like searching for a needle in a haystack.
So citations are like a roadmap,
Yes.
guiding the reader to the exact legal authority being relied on.
Precisely. And it's not just about finding the source, it's
Yeah.
also about providing enough information
Right.
for the reader to evaluate its weight and relevance.
Okay.
Is it a Supreme Court case, a decision from a lower court, a statute from a particular state? All of those details matter when you're building a legal argument.
That makes sense. So it's about building credibility and ensuring transparency in our legal writing.
Absolutely. And to do that effectively, we need to understand the nuances of legal citation.
Okay.
Let's start with one of the most common types of legal authority, cases.
Okay, cases. Those always seem to have a lot of moving parts
They do.
in their citations. What's the logic behind that structure?
Well, imagine a case citation as a set of directions.
Okay.
Leading the reader to the exact page where a legal principle is discussed. You start with the case name, which is always italicized,
Okay.
followed by the volume number of the reporter where the case is published,
Uh-huh.
the abbreviated name of the reporter itself,
Okay.
and the page number where the case begins.
Okay.
This information enclosed in parentheses is like the basic address of the case.
So if I'm looking for a case in a physical law library, I'd use that information to locate the correct book.
You got it. But we often need to be even more specific than just the starting page of the case.
Yeah, okay.
That's where pinpoint citations come in.
Right.
After the basic case information, you add a comma, and then the exact page number where the specific legal principle you're citing is located.
Okay.
This pinpoint page is marked with an asterisk.
So it's like giving the reader GPS coordinates,
Exactly.
leading them straight to the precise legal point.
And to complete the citation, you include the court that decided the case, if it's not obvious from the reporter,
Okay.
and the year of the decision, also inside parentheses.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about cases that are published electronically, not in physical books? Do those citations follow the same format?
They follow a similar logic, but with a few key differences. Instead of a volume and reporter abbreviation,
Right.
you'll use a database identifier, such as a Westlaw or Lexis citation. And since electronically published cases don't have physical page numbers in the traditional sense, you'll only include the pinpoint page, still marked with an asterisk.
Interesting. So you're providing a digital address instead of a physical one.
Precisely. Now, once you've cited a case in this long form, the first time you mentioned it, you can use a shortened version called a short form citation
Okay.
in subsequent references.
So it's all about being concise and avoiding unnecessary repetition.
Exactly. There are a few different types of short forms, and the one you choose depends on how you're referencing the case and what came before it in your writing.
Right.
For example, if the case name is mentioned in the sentence, you can often just use the volume number, reporter abbreviation, and pinpoint page. But if the previous citation was to something completely different, you'll need to use a slightly longer short form, including at least one of the party names.
Okay, so there's a bit of a dance involved in figuring out which short form to use.
You could say that, but don't worry.
Yeah.
With practice, it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
Now that we've tackled the basics of case citations, are you ready to move on to another essential type of legal authority?
Yeah.
Statutes?
Absolutely. Bring on the laws.
Okay. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about how we cite statutes.
Okay.
These are the written laws passed by legislative bodies. And just like with cases, citing them accurately is crucial for clarity and credibility.
Okay. Statutes. So when I think of statutes, I think about like those big official books filled with laws. But I've also seen these other versions.
Right.
Annotated codes with all sorts of extra commentary and explanations.
Yeah.
Which ones do we actually cite in legal documents?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While annotated codes can be incredibly helpful for understanding the context and interpretation of a statute,
Yeah.
they are not the official source. For citation purposes, we always cite to the official unannotated code.
I see. So it's about citing the most authoritative source.
Yeah. Now let's start with federal statutes. The format for citing these is designed to pinpoint the statute's exact location within the United States Code, which is the official compilation of federal laws.
Okay.
All right.
So it's similar to cases in that we're giving the reader like specific directions to find the law we're referencing.
Precisely. You start with the title number, which categorizes the laws by subject matter.
Okay.
Then you add the abbreviated name of the United States Code, that's USC, followed by the section symbol and the specific section number you are citing.
Okay, so it's like giving the reader an address. The title is like the street name, and the section number is like the house number.
Perfect analogy. And just like with addresses, you want to be as specific as possible.
Right.
If the section you are citing has subsections, sub-subsections, or even more granular divisions, you need to include those in your citation as well. Don't just cite the general section if you can get more precise.
Just like making sure you include the apartment number,
Yes.
not just the building number.
Yes.
So the reader can find the exact provision you're talking about.
You got it. Now, once you've given that full citation the first time you mention the statute, you can use a shortened version.
Okay.
Or short form
Right.
in subsequent references.
Okay.
These short forms are similar to those we discussed for cases.
Right.
They help keep your writing concise and avoid unnecessary repetition.
Okay. So the same principles of clarity and efficiency apply here as well.
Exactly. If it's clear which title you're referring to, you can often just use the section symbol and the number. Now things get a bit more complicated when we move on to state statutes.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready for a little challenge?
Bring it on. I'm starting to feel like a citation detective, ready to unravel any citation mystery.
I like your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Okay. So unlike federal statutes, which are all neatly organized in the U.S. Code,
Right.
state statutes can vary quite a bit in their format and organization.
So each state has its own unique way of doing things.
Exactly. Some states use numbered titles. Others categorize their laws by subject area.
Okay.
And some don't even have an official unannotated code.
Wow.
It's a bit of a free-for-all, which can be frustrating for legal writers.
Yikes, that sounds like a potential headache. How are we supposed to keep all of these variations straight?
Well, the good news is that the Blue Book provides guidance
Okay.
on how to cite statutes from all 50 states, as well as the District of Columbia and U.S. territories.
Oh, wow.
You just need to know where to look.
Okay, so the Blue Book is our trusty guide, even in the Wild West, of state statutes. But even with the Blue Book, it seems like there's a lot to remember.
Yeah.
Any tips for navigating this citation maze?
Absolutely. First,
Okay.
always start by checking the specific rules for the jurisdiction you're writing for.
Okay.
Some courts might have their own local rules that supersede the general Blue Book guidelines.
So local rules trump the Blue Book. Got it. What else?
Don't be afraid to use online resources.
Okay.
There are many websites and legal databases that provide up-to-date citation formats for state statutes. These can be lifesavers when you're dealing with unfamiliar jurisdictions.
That's a great tip. So we have the Blue Book, local rules, and online resources.
Right.
Anything else we should keep in mind?
Well, one thing that often trips people up is the use of abbreviations.
Oh, yeah.
Legal citation is full of abbreviations.
Right.
And it's important to use them correctly to avoid confusion.
Abbreviations, I have to admit, those can be a bit intimidating. There are so many of them.
Don't worry, we'll break it down. Let's start with a few general principles.
Okay.
First, single capital letters in an abbreviation are not separated by a space.
Okay, so SDNY for the Southern District of New York.
Right.
No spaces between the letters.
Exactly. The same rule applies to ordinal numbers.
Okay.
So it's F.3 for the Federal Reporter, 3rd series. Not F3rd with a space, but any abbreviation that's not a single capital letter should have a space on both sides.
So the Federal Supplement for Federal Trial Court Cases is abbreviated with the letter F and a period, then a space, then the abbreviation SUPP, And you can add second or third or fourth after that to indicate the series. What else should we watch out for?
Another common mistake is with ordinal numbers themselves.
Okay.
We never use superscript in legal citations.
Right.
So it's 11th CIR with circuit abbreviated for the 11th circuit, not 11th with the tiny TH in superscript. And for those tricky second and third abbreviations, you write 2D, not 2ND. And you write 3D, not 3RD. And again, not in superscript.
I always get those mixed up. Why the D? It seems counterintuitive.
It's just one of those quirky Blue Book conventions we have to memorize. And while we're on the topic of quirky rules, let's talk about page ranges.
Okay.
When you're citing multiple pages, you use an N dash, not a hyphen, between the first and last page numbers.
Okay, so an N dash. Longer than a hyphen for page ranges.
Yes. Here's the catch. For the last page number in a range, you only keep the last 2 digits and drop any repeating numbers.
Okay.
So if you're citing pages 490 to 493, it would be 490-93, not 490-493.
That's interesting. So it's all about being concise even when citing multiple pages.
Exactly. Every character counts in legal writing, and those little shortcuts can make a big difference in readability. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into citations, there's one more important concept we need to discuss. Signals.
Okay.
Have you ever encountered those little italicized words or phrases that appear before citations?
I have. We call these signpost signals, and they play a crucial role in legal citation.
Okay, so signals give the reader context for the citation. Is the case I'm about to cite directly on point, or is it just providing some background information?
Exactly. They help to clarify the relationship between your text and the cited source. And the good news is, you don't need a signal if the authority directly states the point you're making, if it's the source of a direct quote, or if you're referring to it directly in your text.
But what about those situations where the relationship between the text and the citation is a bit more nuanced?
That's when signals come into play.
Okay.
And one of the most common signals you'll encounter is C.
Okay.
We use C when the cited authority supports our proposition,
Right.
but doesn't explicitly state it.
So if I'm drawing an inference from a case or using it to support a point that's not directly stated in the case itself,
Right.
I'd use C. Or if you're using a case to support a conclusion about your own case, even though the cited case might be about a slightly different set of facts.
Okay,
C is a versatile signal.
got it. See, for subtle support, are there other signals we should be aware of?
Absolutely. There are a whole bunch of signals, each with its own specific meaning.
Yeah.
For example, there's e.g., and it's used when the cited authority is just one example of a broader principle.
Right.
There's accord, which is used to show that multiple authorities agree on a particular point.
Mm-hmm.
Contra is used to introduce authority that contradicts your point.
Okay.
But C is used to introduce authority that supports a contrary position, but doesn't directly contradict your point.
Wow, there are a lot of signals to keep track of.
There are. Signals add an extra layer of precision to your legal writing, helping the reader understand exactly how you're using the cited authority to support your arguments.
This has been so helpful. I'm starting to see how all the pieces of citation fit together. But before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for our fellow law students who might be feeling a bit overwhelmed by all these rules and details?
My advice is to approach legal citation as a skill that develops over time. Don't expect to memorize every rule overnight.
Right.
The more you practice, the more intuitive it will become.
Yeah.
And remember, the Blue Book is your friend.
Yes.
Don't hesitate to refer to it whenever you're unsure about a particular rule or format.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
The Blue Book can seem intimidating at first, but it's really a valuable resource.
Exactly. And one last piece of advice.
Okay.
Cite as you write.
Yes.
Don't wait until the end of your paper or brief to add in all your citations. It's much easier to do it as you go along and avoid a massive headache later.
Oh, I've definitely learned that lesson the hard way.
And to all our listeners out there, remember, mastering legal citation is a journey, not a destination.
That's right.
Embrace the challenge, be patient with yourself, and keep practicing. You've got this.
So when figuring out legal citations, be patient with yourself and embrace the challenge and the Blue Book. With practice, you'll learn the most common citation rules and how to more easily navigate the Blue Book and local rules. For more help, check out Chapter 44 in the Handbook for the New Legal Writer. And remember, you can be a great legal writer.